Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be reacting to another requested reaction. So the person that, they didn't specifically request this video, but they requested that I react to Casual Geographic. And yeah, I haven't seen him in a while because he used to pop up on my phone on random videos, but I haven't seen him in a while. So does he just make YouTube videos now? I'm not sure. I don't know. But yeah, this video is ruining Finding Nemo with science because I can. So that was an interesting title because what is he going to talk about? I have no idea. So let's just get into it, and please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below. Also, it seems kind of dark in this video.
Remember that time Disney made
like, where's the light?
Where a man's wife and children get violently ripped off the census, and his only remaining son is left physically disabled, only for that same son to get kidnapped by a trafficker, and now the father has to travel hundreds of miles across predator-populated hoods with only the help of a severely mentally handicapped woman. Yeah, Finding Nemo is crazy. I'm gonna destroy your favorite movie with science, and here's a challenge: take a shot or a hit, because 420. Every time a main character should have become a chalk outline. Your grandkids will be in AA at the end. So it starts with a barracuda clapping virtually Nemo's entire bloodline, and here's where we get our first problem. Barracuda don't eat clownfish or their eggs, but you know who do? Clownfish themselves. Clownfish have been known to spawn, kill, and eat their own eggs, so Nemo's mother would have been infinitely more of a threat to him than any barracuda.
Dang.
Now, to be fair, if you ask
they don't have anything else to eat.
Their eggs, they'd probably say unfertilized, because those and damaged ones are the ones they usually eat, i.e. the ones that wouldn't make it anyway.
Oh, okay.
That goes against my narrative, so I'm going to disregard it. The other elephant to address.
It's interesting, eating your own eggs. Alright, let me turn down a little bit.
Is how clownfish breed. Clownfish are sequential hermaphrodites, where every clownfish is born a male, and the biggest, most him male will transition into a female when the opportunity arises. Such an opportunity would be if a hypothetical.
So they also have transgender fish.
That void would get filled by the biggest male clownfish in the area, and his spot would get filled by the second biggest male, and the two would proceed to mate with each other.
Wait, so the biggest, he said the biggest male becomes the female?
Barracuda took the alpha female on a dinner date with Batman's parents. That void would get filled by the biggest male clownfish in the area.
Okay, can I rewind more?
Are sequential hermaphrodites. So every clownfish is born a male, and the biggest, most him male will transition into a female when the opportunity arises. Such an opportunity would be if a hypothetical barracuda took the alpha female on a dinner date with Batman's parents. That void would get filled by the biggest male clownfish in the area, and his spot would get filled by the second biggest male, and the two would proceed to mate with each other. And since the only clownfish we see in the entire movie are father and son, I'll let you fill in those dots. Clownfish aren't the only fish that switch teams. The Asian sheepshead wrasse does the same, but in reverse. They go from female to male. Although with a face for radio, you will not see them on a movie poster. If Nemo and
It's interesting that like in nature with animals, like for example these fish that he's talking about, they transition, like they change their genders naturally. So it's kind of weird that when humans do it, like people go crazy. And also when people transition, like they're doing it to their own bodies, not like they're forcing someone else to do it. So I think it's kind of interesting that people go crazy over what someone else is doing to their body, like because someone's transitioning or changing their gender. Like, how does that affect you? I'm confused why you care so much, or why those people care so much.
There's a good chance Nemo wasn't ever even alive. What if I told you Nemo means no?
Because imagine, like, do those same people still have the same hate for these fish? Like, are they trying to destroy the population of these fish because they transition to other genders? I don't know. Like, if someone's not harming you, I don't know why you would care so much about. Anyway, that's another topic for another video.
In Latin, which means the movie title makes the theory that Marlin married Itachi suddenly gained legs. He also could have been named after Captain Nemo from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. But that goes against my narrative, so I'm going to disregard it. It's easy for facts to get lost in favor of a better story. If you don't know where to look, you'd have no way of knowing. Like, you may have heard that the administration started putting tariffs on penguins. Now, personally, I think it's been time those business chickens ponied up.
I feel like his lighting is darker. I've seen, like I said, I've seen some of his videos. And he wasn't this dark in his videos, so it must be the lighting for this particular video, because he doesn't stand out as much as he usually does, I guess, on the green screen.
They've had it too good for too long, but I gotta pretend to be partial. So that's why I'm working with Ground News.
Okay, support him. Go to his page and support. I'm gonna skip this because I'm not here for this. I'm here for the fish.
His father's going Marlin to Marlene as soon as he gets off screen. Alright, so Nemo is going to school, and when we get there, we meet these guys. And I remember as a kid, I was not sure what Pearl was. Well, she's a young flapjack octopus. They're remarkably adorable in real life.
They kind of look like a head of a hippo. Kind of looks like a Digimon.
Real life, she'd be a lot less cute. The flapjack can be found in depths as far down as 1,500 meters, or 100 meters short of a mile, or about 3.5 Empire State Buildings. And since this pink propeller hat can withstand crushing pressure, if she existed where Nemo could see her, she would be turned into disfigured mush. Think about how getting pulled out of their habitat turns a normal-looking blobfish into a deflated, misshapen whale fetus. The whole course that got memed. Pearl being where the sun shines would reduce her to flamingo vomit. Also, at one point, Pearl says this about her arm.
It's actually shorter than all my other tentacles.
Well, octopus usually have one shorter arm called the hectocotylus, and its job is to deliver baby batter directly to the female, and in some species, it detaches for the female to swim off with like a Costco coitus card. In fact, the bedroom arm might have a mind of its own, since it can swim to the female, and it's believed it can even sense danger. So two things, Pearl's not a girl, and that is an indecency charge. And that's not the last time we go down that road either. Now we're going to ignore the fact that flapjacks don't actually have a hectocotylus, because that goes against my name. So after Nemo sees his first pink slip, we then meet Mr. Ray. Not to be confused with the op of the Irwins, because Steve wouldn't even want that. But also because Mr. Ray is a manta ray, non-venomous and completely harmless. Now I don't know if they did this
Completely empty too.
They chose arguably the smartest fish in the ocean to be their teacher. Manta rays are considered the most intelligent, with the largest brain-to-body ratio of any fish. The overachieving aquatic placemat is apparently capable of problem solving and advanced communication. They're also self-aware, with more than one occasion of a manta ray checking itself out in a mirror, and they were even caught waving and blowing bubbles at their own reflection. And just for reference, that's not how they'd react to another manta. Some mantas have even been on record asking divers for help removing hooks, so yeah, makes sense this one would have a teaching degree. Anyway, Mr. Ray gives the kids a marine magic carpet ride through the reef. Stop right there. As a kid, it used to drive me crazy that I didn't know what that was. Years later, I have the answer. Spanish dancer. This specific pancake is a nudibranch, aka a type of giant sea slug, and a species known as a Spanish dancer. Named after
It does kind of look like a dress.
Performer. It looks a lot like what SpongeBob got caught watching in 4K, and ironically, sponge is what they eat, and they'll actually steal their toxins for their own use. It's essentially cultural appropriation with poison. They also play for both sides, but unlike clownfish, they're
Actually, well, I don't know much about Spanish culture, but it reminds me of those Mexican dresses. Not sure what they're called, but they're kind of similar to this. I've seen some performances
born with both equipment.
growing up.
They use it. Well, sometimes two slugs will donate nativity nectar to each other and head on their way.
Ew.
Some sea slugs have two penile appendages, one for delivering baby batter, and the other to stab their partner through the head to release a substance believed to brainwash the receiver into accepting their love juice while internally rejecting that of a rival. How do Spanish dancers do it? I don't know. I honestly stopped looking because I can only read the words traumatic insemination so many times. Also in the movie,
I kind of don't like the way they move.
Canonically, it's Maria. Or I guess Mario. I guess both. So anyway, you know how the story goes. Eventually they get to the drop-off, the kids start doing the type of shit that got Harambe packed, and Nemo decides he really wants to live up to his name and gets himself kidnapped. His father tries to save him, but gets flashbanged by a camera. And yeah, that's accurate. A camera flash might not kill a fish, but it's severely disorienting and like a forced factory reset. That's why they say no flash photos in an aquarium. One time a tuna mistook a flash for a fish and proceeded to one-shot itself into the glass in front of several children. So I take it back. I guess it could have murked Marlin if it made him split his skull in a piece of coral. A little while after that, we get to Dory. She's a regal blue tang and a species of surgeonfish that gained a lot of clout from the movie. She's also venomous with a caudal spine that extends whenever
She looks,
the fish is stressed.
or it looks huge.
Prison shift. Not only can it cause
Oh,
severe
never mind,
bleeding
it's not.
cuts, you're also liable to catch a nasty bacterial infection. That's why they're called surgeonfish. Because they will cut you. Chlorine would also conceal carry a toxin called ciguatera, and poisoning can lead to migraines, trouble breathing, and hallucinations. So yeah, the beloved Disney character can be a real headache to deal with in real life, although to be fair, I've heard the same said about her voice actor. Not long after that, we meet Bruce, and considering he expeditiously kidnaps and essentially escorts them to an underwater white van, he might just be a predator in every sense. But when we see all three sharks, they swear by vegetarianism. We also see this guy. Remember him, he's gonna be important. Now there actually are vegetarian sharks. More than half of the bottomhead shark's diet is seagrass. It turns out whale sharks eat a massive amount of green. But considering we're talking about a great white, a hammerhead, and a mako, the only thing saving a clownfish and a blue tang is they're technically too small to even be worth the effort. Also, when Jaws cries about never knowing his father, it's because many sharks exhibit multiple paternity, where one litter can have several fathers. Shark mommy's womb is like a baby battered bouillabaisse, where paternity is like a lottery system. That was really gross. I'm toning it down. But yeah, Bruce has no way of knowing who his father is. But it could be worse. Baby sand tiger sharks will cannibalize their siblings while in utero. And we know that because one time a scientist tried to slide his hand inside a pregnant shark's nookie and almost got his finger bit off. Okay, so later on, Marlin and Dory decide to dive into God's blind spot. Now, ignoring the fact that the pressure should have popped their eyes out and pushed their organs out of their mouths, they nearly get sent to a Tupac concert by anglerfish. Now, fun fact, if you watch the credits, that anglerfish lives a horophilic wet dream when it gets swallowed by the little anxiety guppy from earlier. Funny thing is, it'd be the other way around. Anglerfish can distend their jaws and stomach and swallow prey physically bigger than they are.
What?
And so far, that inspired one man to pleasure himself with a dead anglerfish's stomach, which promptly sent him to the hospital. Should have sent him to solitary confinement. That is a hell of a hear me out. The kind that should forfeit your right to human contact. It's not long after that we meet a lot of 90s kids' first introduction to rage bait. If these moonfish were humans in 2025, they'd be kick streamers. In real life, fish will use this shoaling strategy to intimidate predators using the hive mind method. On a large scale, it's pretty cool. It makes sharks swimming through them look like an etch-a-sketch. But when predators like tuna gang up on them, it turns the bait ball into a slaughter. Also, just a callback, the reflection of the sunlight off the prey scales is exactly why a camera flash can make a tuna crash. Out, that is. Now let's talk about Nemo. Because Buddy would have really become a no one before he ever saw his dad. Let me tell you about osmosis. No. So the fusion
Not
is
Jones.
molecules will move from one area of high concentration to low concentration, and osmosis is that, but for water. Stay with me now. As a saltwater fish, Nemo would normally have a higher concentration of water inside him than outside, so high to low, water would leave him like his mother left the mortal plane. To avoid meeting her, Nemo would have to take in water while his kidneys work to pump the salt out. But put him in fresh water and the opposite happens. Now the concentration of water would be higher outside Nemo than inside, so high to low, Nemo would get internally waterboarded. So Nemo being flushed in a freshwater sewage plant means he would not make the sequel, as his cells would swell and rupture, and he'd get packed up by water poisoning. Also, fun fact, one line in this movie led to the deaths of thousands. You want to guess what it was?
All drains lead to the ocean.
Just like that, Disney sent countless amounts of pet fish to the gulag at the hands of dumbass little kids. And if I had fish at the time, I would have been one of them.
That's what happens when you don't watch your kids. Because, like, why would your kid take a fish out of the fish tank and then flush it? That means you weren't watching them.
It also inspired children
Like,
to set their goals.
I'm pretty sure it takes some time to fish out a fish and then go to the bathroom to flush it. So what were you doing while your kid was doing that? I don't know.
Fish free in the wild. Giant Goliath goldfish is why you do not do that.
It's huge.
It's a bug-eyed invasive that's basically a nuke to the natural habitat. Now, I'm not blaming the movie for this, but their hands aren't clean. The irony is, a movie about letting fish be turned a lot of wild fish into pets and a lot of pet fish into the wild. Anyway, back to the father. Eventually, they both get taken by a whale. And oh boy, there is a lot to unpack here. Stay with me now.
I was interrupted by an ad.
Not only are they the biggest things alive ever, it takes so much energy for them to open their mouths, they only do it when they're guaranteed enough krill calories. Not only that, blue whales taking so much water in the process, we're talking 10,000 gallons or like 200 bathtubs. The effort it takes to carry all that means the blue whale can barely move. So yeah, Bluey would have been physically incapable of carrying them to Sydney. But even if they could, Nemo still would have come out of it an orphan. When blue whales hold all that water, they squeeze that water out with their tongue. Anything not water gets trapped in their baleen. It's how they filter feed, which means our fish friends would have been crushed to death by an 8,000-pound tongue. That's the weight of an elephant. Also, it would have been physically impossible for the whale to shoot them off at Sydney. since the blue whale's mouth does not connect to its blowhole. Also, whales don't shoot water out of their blowholes. It's really just warm whale lung air meeting cool outside sea air with some mucus, and it smells like a tire factory married the final boss of tonsil stones. So if smell kills, they would have
How you know?
guessed past the fish hell. But ignoring all that, eventually they trade one live uber for another when a friendly pelican saves them from a flock of hungry seagulls. Seagulls are a feathery antichrist and the spawn of Satan. And they should be afraid of pelicans, since pelicans are documented literally swallowing birds alive. In fact, one of the most traumatizing documentaries I watched was where
Dang, they're just out here eating anything.
by the thousands, but because of overfishing, great white pelicans started pulling up to the nursery. What followed was a bunch of today pterosaurs strolling across the island like a grocery aisle and swallowing any unsupervised chicks alive. Like, you could hear the chicks as they were sliding down their throats, only for the pelicans to fly home just to regurgitate the recently devoured baby birds for their own pelican chicks to eat. So yeah, Nigel might be the real villain.
Not this
That
picture.
didn't really have to do with the plot, but I just sat here and overanalyzed the kids movie from 2003 because I have nothing better to do. And if this video gets 150,000 likes, I'll do it to another one. You can probably guess which one. Further reminder that I do have a Patreon if you'd like to support
Okay.
me by not subscribing. But as always,
Support.
in this economy, don't spend a check on a creator that, let's be honest, really doesn't need it. Only if you want to like buy me lunch or something. Also, I have a book. You should
Okay, self promo. Okay, so yeah, I've only seen his videos on I guess Instagram Reels, but I've never seen like a full form or long form video on YouTube. So I guess he still does it, but it doesn't pop up on my algorithm, I guess. So that's why I haven't seen him in a while. But yeah, it's interesting that he like talked about these animals from this movie, and it's interesting to hear some of these facts because I didn't know most of them, and it's not like I go out of my way to search up this information, so it's nice it's all in one nice video. But that is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let me know what else I should react to in the comments below, and if you want to see my experiences in Korea, you can check out my first channel, SEKSHI V, and if you want to see my other socials, it's right here under my face. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.